Here's a student, clearly an intelligent young man, and he's defending Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, purely defending them. Thinks that they are just defending themselves. That's all they're doing. They're in defense, right? As if October 7th was a defensive act, and it makes me wonder, like, where's this guy coming from? And it's one of two things: either he actually believes just false information, straight up false information, and then he just needs to actually get to true sources and objectively look at the information, or he's actually brainwashed. Or he has an agenda, and facts don't matter. And that's the case for a lot of people too. That facts really don't matter. They have an agenda, and this is true in many debates going on in the world. And I'm sure you've spoken to people like that. The facts just don't make a difference. They're invested in their narrative and they keep to it. I lean towards that direction. It's hard for me to imagine that someone can say that Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas are simply reacting. It's hard to imagine that. So I just think this guy's investing in the agenda. Here, this debate with Charlie Kirk, which is really interesting.
But it seems, do you agree Iran's an evil?
I think that my
priority... Oh, a little hesitancy? Is Iran and Saudi Arabia both enemies of the West?
No, I don't believe
that
at all.
So Iran funding Hamas and Hezbollah is what? Would you say that? Good?
I think that...
Iran is the number one terrorist funder in the world.
I think the Palestinian people and the Lebanese people have the right to defend themselves from Israel.
Hamas is not defending themselves.
Yes,
They're a terrorist organization targeting Jews, launching rockets into the nation state of Israel every single day.
Sorry.
Hamas is not Palestinian. Hamas and Hezbollah are terrorist organizations that are committed to the complete and total destruction of the rightful nation state of Israel.
That's completely untrue. Hamas has repeatedly expressed acceptance of the two-state solution on the Okay, well, the terrorism that Hamas and Hezbollah are responsible for pales in comparison with the terrorism that Israel and the United States carry out on a regular basis.
Can I ask a question?
And furthermore, you say you're against wealth redistribution. So what do you think about billions of dollars of American taxpayers' money going to Israel every year?
They buy U.S. weapons. There's not direct aid. Let me ask you a question. What happens to the families of terrorists in Palestine? Let's say there's a suicide bomber in the streets of Jerusalem. Did you know that there's a pay-for-slay policy where Palestinian families get a check every single month if they kill Jews? Did you know that? The Palestinian Authority, which Hamas is governed under because Israel, in the pursuit of peace, retreated from Hamas. Did Israel give up Hamas, yes or no?
The Palestinian Authority governs the West Bank.
What happened to the Gaza Strip? Did Israel used to occupy it, true or false?
Israel continues to occupy Gaza.
It's controlled by the terrorist state of Hamas. It used to be functioning factories. It used to be rolling hills and vineyards. And the Hamas, the terrorists, took it over.
That's completely untrue.
And built terror tunnels and launched rockets.
Hamas.
As soon as Hamas was democratically elected, Israel immediately imposed a crippling blockade.
The PA is democratically elected?
No, Hamas is an international prescribed terror organization. Hamas is an international prescribed terror organization.
Sorry?
Hamas is an internationally prescribed terror organization.
No, it's not actually. It's prescribed by a handful of Western countries, which support
including
Israel.
The one that you're in.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't uncritically
Intelligence agencies which are designed to serve the people of this country in America have prescribed Hamas. That should raise some serious questions in your head as to whether or not you should be supporting them.
I don't place limited faith in the intelligence services who said Iraq had weapons of mass destruction.
Okay, well, that's a completely separate topic of conversation.
Well, no,
that was UN's weapons inspectors who said
you're defending
Iraq
the intelligence services.
That were UN weapons inspectors who Iraq said they had weapons of mass destruction.
The UN weapons inspectors, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
The UN weapons inspectors said Iraq did not have WMD. So you're supporting
who was the head of the UN's weapons inspection.
So you say you're in favor of limited government, but you support the invasion of Iraq.
No, we're not even talking about that. We're talking about Hamas. Okay, you have just voiced support for Hamas and Hezbollah.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
You actually did.
Are
they a terrorist organization? Yes or no?
Yeah, they've carried out acts of terror.
Let's just watch some videos of the Iron Dome intercepting rockets. The acts of terror that they've carried out pale in comparison with the acts of terror that Israel and the United States.
Can you tell me why the PA fund gives money to the terrorist families?
I don't support the PA.
Who do you support? Iran or?
No, I support human beings who are struggling for their rights.
Then you should hate Iran because Iran murders human beings that are gay and they throw them off the top of buildings. So you should hate Iran.
Yeah, I don't support the Iranian government, but neither do I support Saudi Arabia, which is supported by the West.
We actually don't support Saudi that much either here, so.
Yeah. Won't find an argument against
Okay, and I also don't support a war against Iran, which you guys seem to.
Well, we do support sanctions and not sending them billions of dollars. So when Iran says,
which is not limited government, by the way.
So can I
sanctions
hang on a
against
sec,
Iran?
hang on a sec. Who? So in the
anarchy.
when the president of Iran comes out and says, "I want to wipe Israel off the map,"
He doesn't actually say that.
The Ayatollah
sorry.
Khamenei said that.
Ahmadinejad actually said that.
Sorry, if you look at his statement,
Burn the American flag. It's
there's
regularly seen on
a difference
TV.
between rhetoric and action. There's all sorts of inflammatory rhetoric, including
So we
from
just
the
don't
West.
trust the words
So
of
let
the
me
president
kind
of
of
Iran.
say two quick things. First of all, Ayatollah Khamenei, the head of Iranian's theocratic construction, essentially part of government, and the former president Ahmadinejad said death to Israel, death to the West, death to America multiple times.
Yeah.
How do they act on it? Because you said it's just words. They give billions to Hamas. They give billions to Hezbollah. They support the bombing of Israeli children. They give money to PA that funds and incentivizes terrorist behavior. They refuse to condemn Hamas and Hezbollah any time under UN resolutions, ever. They refuse to ever vote and say this is wrong. They actually fund BDS resolutions all across the world. They're outwardly anti-Semitic, not to mention outwardly anti-gay, anti-Christian, anti-Western. And finally, why does Iran want nuclear weapons so bad? Why? Because they want to act on their words to destroy Israel, destroy the West, destroy America. Iran is the fundamentally biggest and most sinister evil of everybody in this room. And if you have sympathy for it, I wonder why.
Okay, so
Well, Rabbi Kirk definitely responded to him very clearly at the end, very well at the end, making very simple and very clear. It's just shocking that, this young man is intelligent. He probably has grievances about things that he's seeing. And a lot of times when we are still formulating, and trying to absorb what's going on in the world around us, we look in sort of extremes. And that is that, one's right, or the other's right. No one's perfect in this world. But there are people who are decent and trying to do better, and there are people who are evil. That's the distinction we need to realize. They are committed to evil. America is not committed to evil. Israel is not committed to evil. Yes, there are things that we do that sometimes are not the wisest choice. We're doing our best. Sometimes we're not even doing our best. But we're not evil, and we're not dedicated or committed to evil.